Welcome back to the STIHL National Championship Air Races, coming to you live from Reno, Nevada. I'm Tommy Sanders, special guest alongside right now. Always a pleasure to welcome the Wild Thing, air show performer, and as we say, one of the Mount Rushmore guys as far as air race announcers, Steve Stavrakakis. Steve, thanks again for making it one more day with us, huh?
Tommy, I wouldn't miss the next couple races here. This T-6 race promises to be every bit as exciting as it was last year. John Lohmar, 2017 gold winner. We've got Chris Rushing, and my sources in the pit say he's the one to watch for this race. But keep in mind, we've got Nick Macy in 6 cat when Dennis Buehn and Midnight missed 3. They both have 6 victories, and they both want one more to tie Eddie Van Fossen's record, 7 victories. Now they're going to be coming in from left to right, from west to east. Just told Chris Rushing to go forward. He told Chris LeFave to go forward. They're trying to get him as lineups. There it is. They're released on the race course. They're a straight enough line that our pace plane felt that they have a race. Now they can accelerate. They can drag race all they want. They cannot change their respective lanes. They can drag race ahead of the airplane next to them, but they can't change lanes until they get to that first pylon. And it's nothing but fuselages, wings. There's a great shot from Nick Macy's airplane looking at the wing. You see how evenly matched they are. Okay, they've already had a quarter-mile run, and they haven't changed positions yet.
Chris Rushing, John Lohmar in the side of our cockpit camera right there. Some incredible shots.
And Chris LeFave and Dennis Buehn got what they call sucked on that one, which means they got a little bit behind when everybody else dove into that left-hand turn. They weren't in the position to go with him. But now Dennis Buehn is making a pretty good move. He's going low. He's shooting for under Nick Macy out there. He's the red and white airplane going for the black one. Way out front though is John Lohmar. They better reel him in now, or he's going to check out. He's going to put too much real estate between them. They're not going to catch him. But again, the word in the T6 pits was watch Chris Rushing in Barron's Revenge, the airplane in the second spot.
You can see him right there, that white airplane with some of or gray with some red markings there, light gray.
Great shot from Nick Macy's airplane looking down at the terrain out there.
1 and 2 right there, race 88 and race 14. John Lohmar, the defending champion, and Chris Rushing staying close behind.
Now, I asked Chris LeFave one time, I said, flat pitch is high RPM. RPMs are horsepower. But then again, it's like running around in first gear. I said, when do you start rolling in the prop? He goes, I can't even tell you that. It's just you do what you need to do when you need to do it.
There's no way to map it out at the start of the race, right?
Not ahead of time. You can't. No, you pretty much, that's why they do a lot of training, a lot of practicing, so that it becomes second nature as far as what they need to do. If they need a little more thrust versus a little more horsepower, they play with that prop control. They change the pitch of the prop, which is like changing gears in your car. Okay, John Lohmar is the back straightaway now. He's still leading. Second place is Chris Rushing from Mount Juliet, Tennessee, and Barron's Revenge, trying to reel him in. He's got the best shot at it. We've got Dennis Buehn right underneath, right behind Nick Macy, our two 6-time national champions. Each one would love a win today to tie Eddie Van Fossen's record of 7 that nobody's been able to get to.
On the left, the view from Nick Macy's airplane. He's currently in 3rd place where he started the race. There are our front runners, 1 and 2, Lohmar and Rushing on the right.
Number 6, Nick Macy's black airplane.
Here's Nick Macy, Dennis Buehn, and Chris LeFave joining the fray.
Okay, they're coming back in front of the crowd now. Drag racing, they're going to drop the noses. This is one of the first straightaway, I should say, that they have is a drag race to that steel start-finish pylon. It looks like Chris Rushing has pulled a little bit of space out there. He looks like he's a little closer to John Lohmar than he was last lap. They're real close in that turn out there as they go around the 1, 2, and 3 pylon.
All our planes in the starting position so far as they were lined up to start this race. Still occupying those spots.
We've got a drag race on the backside because this is our second drag. It's more of an oval course here for these guys, so they can actually drag race. They get the wings level and drag race out there. Look at the race going on between 1st and 2nd. John Lohmar with Chris Rushing trying to reel him in. Now, they probably can't overtake just based on horsepower, is what he's going to be trying to do. He wants to get, see where he is right there? He's going to want to be right there, high and to the right, when they make the final turn. So we still have a few laps to go. He's got to make sure that he doesn't let John Lohmar get too far away, but then again, he doesn't want to tip his hand yet either.
Well, more than once just today, we have seen two planes in that position through the majority of the race, and then it all goes down in the final lap, the final straightaway, as a matter of fact.
If you could be where he is right now, get a little bit of altitude, but be just off his right quarter panel, you do that, you've got a real good chance of slingshotting that drag race to the last, to the checkered flag when we get to that lap. Okay, so it's still John Lohmar from Dallas, Texas in first place, Chris Rushing from Mount Juliet, Tennessee, right on his right wing, Nick Macy in the black 6 cat from Tule Lake, California, and actually a ways behind him now. He's kind of pulled away from Dennis Buehn from Fallon, Nevada, and missed Midnight 3. And then my good buddy Chris LeFave, pedaling as hard as he can, is just not competitive in this class this year.
That shot you've been seeing it coming out of this plane, the plane of Nick Macy, that black one right there, the 6 cat. Get a great idea of what the desert floor looks like rushing by about 50, 60 feet above it.
You know, that really puts it in perspective. You know, speed is relevant. When you're up high, you don't even notice it. You want to know how fast you're going, get down where the sagebrush is going by you at about 200 feet. Okay, they're coming around the west end of the course one more time. Now again, Chris Rushing's going to want to stay as close as he can so that he can slingshot him on the last lap. He knows he probably can't get by him just in a flat-out clean pass. But if he can be there for the last lap, slingshot that last turn, and drag race him to the steel start-finish pylon, he may have a chance.
Can't afford any wobbles or slip-ups at this point. They only have 2 laps left in the race.
Well, another thing, too, is John Lohmar has to really concentrate on flying his line. He knows he's got company to the right, but worse than that, he's got pylons to the left. He can't focus too much on Chris Rushing and end up cutting a pylon, because now he just beat himself and he's giving it to Chris Rushing. Okay, it looks like John Lohmar may have pulled away a little bit on that last back straightaway now.
Yeah, he dropped down a little bit and gained a few feet on Chris Rushing.
And Chris Rushing's trying to stay with him now, kind of like sailboat racing. You stay in the same wind as your competition. Well, that's what he's doing right now, but let's see. We should be getting pretty close to the white flag lap, the bell lap. Once that happens, you're really going to see him try and move into that right quarter panel of Radial Velocity, John Lohmar's airplane. Okay, here they come around toward the crowd one more time.
So John Lohmar maybe he's clawed a few feet back
away from Chris Rushing. Back. Yeah, I think he gained some back.
There goes the white flag. So
white
these 2 planes
out.
and all our planes entering the final of 6 laps.
They're on the bell lap now. John Lohmar's got to fly his line, stay away from those pylons, and make sure, I guarantee his crew's on the radio right now telling him where Chris Rushing is at every moment. Now, Chris Rushing has to try and creep up on him. He's got to creep up a little bit closer, and if he can get a little bit of altitude, because, again, he's got to be able to trade altitude for airspeed on that last straightaway drag race. They're abeam the steel start-finish line right now on the backside of the course. They're in a drag race. They're both wings level. Getting ready to roll into the 9 o'clock position in the Valley of Speed out here. Okay, they're close. Okay, Chris Rushing's sneaking up a little bit. He's got to get a little bit of altitude and reel him in a little bit closer. I don't know if he's close enough, Tom. He needs a little bit. He needs to shorten that gap a little bit more, because when they turn the corner right here, when wings go level, they're drag racing. They're not racing. They're not air racing. They're drag racing from this point on. They're drag racing. Can he do it?
Final straightaway. Watch Chris Rushing as he tries to close.
He's coming in on him.
He's closing, but he's not going to get it done. Successful defense of the gold title for John Lohmar, race 88 from Dallas, Texas.
You know, give Chris Rushing a lot of credit. He did everything textbook. He was right where he needed to be. He just didn't, he ran out of real estate. The racetrack ended 100 yards too soon.
Chris Rushing will get second. Nick Macy, 3rd place. Dennis Buehn, race 43 in 4th place. And Chris LeFave in Bear Essentials.
Eddie
race
Van
2.
Fossen's 7-win record is still intact.
For another year.
Exactly.
Another look at this race right here. That's the way they lined up. That's the way they came down into the race course.
Like I say, watch the shadows. The shadows don't lie.
John Lohmar doing his best throughout the course of these 6 laps to make sure that no one is in position to do what he did to Nick Macy last year.
proud supporter of the 2018 Reno Air Races. Special thanks this year to El Jimador 100%.
All through the race. Second position, Chris Rushing,
Amsterdam vodka.
trying as well as he could to stay close enough, stay in touch with the leader, John Lohmar. About mid-race, well, he was right in position.
World-class resort destination recognized as the best hotel.
Expected any moment him go a little higher, drop a little lower, gain the speed it takes to outrun on the straightaways and hold the position in the turns, but he never could get ahead.
Yeah, that's a case where John Lohmar was thinking the course was infinitely long, wishing it would end at any time.
Yeah.
And Chris Rushing saying, "My God, this course is too short. We need a longer course."
Time creeping by for John Lohmar, no doubt about that. As you say, his crew making him aware of what was going on right behind him. Came down to the final moments here, and John Lohmar able to hang on against a charging Chris Rushing. There's your T6 Gold Race unofficial results for 2018. John Lohmar defending his title. Race 88 in Radial Velocity. Barron's Revenge, Chris Rushing, race 14. Could not get it done in the final moments of this race. Nick Macy holding in third place throughout the entire race. In 6 Cat and providing us some great pictures. Dennis Buehn and Chris LeFave rounding out the field here in Reno.